guard, number 74, Google. Right tackle, number 68. Right tackle, number 68, Stadnick. Left slot back, number 13, Casey Bain. Wide receiver, number 8, Caleb Perry. Quarterback for the Knights, number 5, Jake Broughton. And the Knights running back, number 7, Jacquees Patterson. Staff members, Great Cross High School football, Principal Troy Lusby, Athletic Director and Assistant Principal Austin Haywood, Athletic Trainer Kaylin Hanson, Video Media, Adrian Blankenship, Running Back, Elisha Morris, Inside Linebackers Coach Pete Combs, Wide Receivers Coach Justin Thomas, Head Freshman Coach Rick Schaffner, Defensive Back Coach Maurice Perry, Defensive Line Special Teams Coach Russell Floyd, Outside Linebackers Coach Byron Christopher, Offensive Line Rob Smith, Offensive Coordinator Nathan Peniston, Defensive Coordinator Inside Linebackers Coach Simon Vanderpool, and your head coach Ricky Bowling.
Yep, I was just going to say that.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, can you please rise?
Nope, just in time. Welcome, everybody, to Bird's Nest Stadium in Georgetown, Kentucky. The Great Crossing High School Band got us started tonight with a beautiful rendition of the national anthem. It is a beautiful night for football. It's not going to get any better than this for the 6th of November. My weather bug on my phone says 53 degrees. It feels warmer than that to me. It's been a beautiful day, fall day here in the Bluegrass. I am Cal Oakes from the Georgetown News Graphic. Our parade of special guests continues this season for Great Crossing High School football. I have baseball coach Greg Stratton with me tonight. And Coach, good to have you here. Have you seen much of the football team this year? And what are your thoughts? They're on a roll lately.
Yeah, well, thank you, Cal. Honored and blessed to be here with you tonight. Haven't seen much of the games this year. I've listened to them, but I know in talking to Coach Bowling pretty much every week, they are really on a roll and really starting to play some, the style that he wants to play.
That's the key with building any program, as you know, is kind of building it in your identity, in your image, and Coach Bowling has certainly done that. Let's fill the listeners, viewers in on a few details. This game, it's been a revolving door of opponents for Great Crossing the past month or so. This game originally was going to be East Jessamine. That was scrapped early in the week when it became apparent that they were not going to get out of red on the COVID map. Then it changed to Spencer County on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday they fell into the red. So there were some plans behind the scenes to find an alternate opponent if that one fell through. And indeed, for the second time this year, coming to Bird's Nest Stadium are the George Rogers Clark Cardinals from Winchester. In week 3 of the season, they dropped in on Scott County on short notice. They lost 42-14 that night. And of course, if you were here with us the week before that, Great Crossing fell to Scott County 49-18. So similar scores. You got to think on paper, this is a fairly even game. George Rogers Clark coming in with a record of 2-4. Like Great Crossing, they have been on a relative hot streak. They've won back-to-back district games against Madison Central and Oldham County. They're kind of in that far-flung 6A district that also includes Bryan Station. So they are 2-1 in their district, 2-4 overall. Same situation in the district for Great Crossing. They are 2-1 with wins over Grant County and Montgomery County, and also with a victory over Western Hills of Frankfort in there, coming in with 3 consecutive wins, looking to go over the 500 mark for the first time in school history in this final regular season game. As we mentioned, 3 straight wins. A lot of that has been predicated on their outstanding senior quarterback, Jake Broughton, who has executed that triple option to perfection. Of course, he's got a lot of help with Caleb Perry, the Swiss Army knife of this offense, and also the star of the defense, the leading tackler in all of Class 5A in the state of Kentucky. So those are just some of the people to watch for tonight for Great Crossing. Of course, they've had some success throwing the ball to Jacob Coulter, Casey Fain, a lot of weapons for Broughton in that offense as this team has continued to progress from a tough opening season last year. They got out of the chute 0-3 this season against similarly tough opponents, but have put it together lately. And this is a good measuring stick game. As you're building a program, Coach, as you know, it's kind of nice to see where you're at against a team that is kind of on your level. And maybe lately Great Crossing has certainly taken care of business against some teams that they honestly should have been favored against. And this looks like a good chance, kind of a 50-50 game on paper.
Yes, I was talking to Coach Bowling this morning, and he said he was up till 3 a.m. this morning watching film and breaking it down since it was such a late game being added to the schedule. But he said it's a really they really match up well. But GRC is big, physical. They're strong up front, and it's going to be a really good test for them.
They are strong at the skill positions. They have a lot of Division I and II talent. You look at the quarterback, Jordan Manley. He's 6'4", 215-pound senior, has thrown for 1,100 yards this year. But they also have one of the top running backs in the state, and Azariah Israel, who has committed to Louisville. He's going to be a preferred walk-on there, as I understand. Also, Manley's top receiver has been Dawson Gay, a senior, who I believe is attending school in West Virginia at the D2 level. And they've also got a big, strong two-way tackle due the GRC Cardinals. And just strong on both sides of the ball with him. So it's going to be a tough assignment for Great Crossing. They've had a little bit of trouble running the ball in conventional fashion. The first 2 games of the year, Caspin Colbert was the man offensively at fullback, and then he got hurt hurt his arm or wrist, underwent surgery, is expected to be out for the remainder of the season. And that has kind of made it a backfield by committee. Tyrus Cobbins has stepped in there and done some nice things for Great Crossing, as has Jaquise Patterson. But they've also used Fain. They've used Perry out of the Wildcats. So the thing with Great Crossing is a lot of different looks we may see out of them. They certainly like their options with the triple option with Broughton. But when you have an athlete like Caleb Perry, you got to get the ball in his hands somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know that, this week I was being NCAA coordinator for the school. I was talking with University of Oregon and Northwestern University about him. So, when they're getting looks at those styles of schools, that, he is something else. And I know he does something every week that kind of amazes his staff.
It's amazing to watch him on film, and he does have already 4 Division I offers. We've mentioned them in the past: Virginia, West Virginia, Cincinnati, and BC. There will be more where those came from for the junior. He is outstanding.
Absolutely.
We mentioned Azariah Israel for GRC. In 5 games, he's rushed 113 times for 717 yards and 9 touchdowns. Their quarterback, Manley, 11 TDs against only 3 interceptions. And Dawson Gay, 39 catches, so about 6.5 catches a game and 6 touchdown receptions. So on the defensive side, 5 tackles for loss for Sam Neely. Trace Mitchell is the big fellow we mentioned. He is the heart of that defense. A lot of teams run away from him. He's only been credited with 16 tackles on the season. We're about set to go. It looks like Great Crossing will kick off first. They'll be going from left to right on your radio dial or your screen. We thank you for joining us at either newsgraphic.com or NFHS Network here on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. We will have playoff action next week, God willing, as Scott County will be here hosting round 1 of the playoffs against Grant County. It looks like Great Crossing will be going to Frederick Douglass. It's obviously a tough assignment. It's a repeat of last year's district semifinals, but certainly the Warhawks in better shape in terms of their confidence and just their overall strength as a team this year. Austin Welch has been the kicker for Great Crossing. He's been outstanding, a weapon kicking PATs as well as field goals, and we're just waiting for the officials to give the go-ahead for him to kick off this one. GRC kept it close for a half with Scott County earlier in the year. They are coached by Dr. Oliver Lucas. He is a much-traveled and very successful coach here in the state of Kentucky. It'll be caught at the 25-yard line. GRC going left to right, running wide, and he will be stopped there. As making the track tackle is Drake Bird. He's an outstanding special teams player for these Warhawks. You will hear his name again tonight, I'm sure. Great GRC, rather, will start at its own, looks like 34-yard line when they put it down. Quarterback is Jordan Manley for GRC. He will start under center, it looks like. He will hand it off to Israel, who escapes the first tackle and gains about 5 up the middle before he is taken down. Trey Combs was there. Looks like Pilot Lacasco as well. Thing about this defense for Great Crossing, coach, is they swarm to the ball. It's always 3 or 4 helmets on every play, it seems like. GRC with 2nd and 5. The Cardinals coming in with a 2-game winning streak, as we said, here to Bird's Nest Stadium, where they've already been once this year. Manley, quick drop, throws it out to the right. It is complete, and it will be a first down on the other side of midfield. As Tate Spade, the 6'2", 185-pound junior, will pick up the first down at the 49 of the Warhawks.
That's good for first down, George Rogers Clark.
George Rogers Clark with the initial first down of the night. Casey Fain made the tackle over there on the far sideline. 11:14 to play here in the first quarter. We are scoreless. Manley hands off to Israel once again. He's got a lot of room off left tackle. He's still going inside the 30. down to the 25 before Caleb Perry finally catches up with him. And we've said Perry makes a lot of tackles. He probably saved the touchdown there, Coach.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And that's what I know Coach Bowling was worried about up front, because GRC is big up front. And Israel just kind of hangs in there right behind the left tackle there and just runs off.
Yeah, he did the smart thing, just kind of followed his blockers. He picked up 22, and GRC is quickly in business. Only a minute into this game, they're down to the Warhawk 27-yard line. Now Manley in the shotgun. He will fake to Israel, throw it to the right flat. It's complete again to Spade. He is double teamed there at the 20, but it's another good gain. It'll be second and short for the Cards. Trying to see who made the tackle. Bird was over there, along with number 13, Fain. He's been in on a couple of stops at his corner position. Second and 1 from the Great Crossing 19. GRC threatening here early. We said both teams on very short notice, about 24 hours to watch film and take it all in. Quick throw from Manley is complete to Gay. He will get the first down. Depending on where they mark it, it'll be either first and goal or, yeah, he's standing right at the 10. So it'll be first and goal for the Cardinals out of Winchester, as they have put together an authoritative, quick, early drive. They've mixed it up with Israel on the ground and some quick out throws from Jordan Manley. And their offense has been pretty potent as of late in their 2 victories. See what the scores were. They put up a lot of points. Yeah, 48 points in each game. 48-15 over Madison Central and 48-28 over Oldham County. So they're doing what we know they can do. Hand off to Israel. A lot of guys were going right, and he was going left, and he will take it left right into the end zone with 9:35 remaining. He just kind of isolated him and let him do his thing. And the Cardinals, a very impressive 65-yard drive to get on the board first here on a beautiful Friday night at Bird's Nest Stadium. GRC takes the 6-0 lead. PAT pending. Their kicker, looks like number 29, Shelby Vaughn. That's right. That's the young lady off the soccer team that kicked 6 PATs in their last win. She gets this one through as well, it appears. Yep, the signal is good. With 9:35 remaining as the teams come back to their respective sidelines, the score is George Rogers Clark 7. Great Crossing nothing here on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. I'd like to thank some of our sponsors. While we have the opportunity, Bluegrass Orthopedics, serving athletes of all ages. Georgetown News Graphic, of course, newsgraphic.com. You can get the story of this game and so much more twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays in print. Please do subscribe. Denise M. Keene, certified public accountant for your tax and auditing needs. Brickhouse Properties Real Estate. They are the sponsor of our Defensive Player of the Game award tonight for the Warhawks. Buying and selling made easy through Brickhouse Properties. Chick-fil-A, home of the original chicken sandwich. Toyota Motor Manufacturing of Kentucky. Clark's Pump and Shop, return, refresh, refuel, with 3, soon to be 4 Georgetown locations, and Georgetown Community Hospital, where your health and safety remain their number one priority in these challenging times. Speaking of challenging, Coach, GRC, they made it look painfully easy there.
Yes, they did.
Mr. Israel, we said he's going to Louisville, and he showed us why. A couple of carries on that drive for double digits, capped by the 10-yard touchdown run.
Knows what to do when he gets the ball in his hands.
Yeah, he's got a low center of gravity, and you've got to hit him low to bring him down. Kickoff is relatively short, taken past the 30-yard line before it is swarmed there. Several GRC helmets on the ball. The return man looked like maybe Coulter. Yes, no, it's DeQuise Brown. I apologize. So Great Crossing will see their offense for the first time tonight. The Warhawks will start at their own 33. Jake Broughton, the senior quarterback, had an outstanding year, as we mentioned. He's gotten great help from the offensive line. We don't mention those guys nearly enough. Across the front from left to right, Brandon Smith, Jake Long, Kevin O'Doherty, Zachary Kugel, and Ethan Stadnick, as they have allowed him to stay on his feet and given him time to throw, and he throws a lot of dimes. 11 touchdown passes so far this season, limping off the field a little bit is number 17, Zachary Kelly. And he'll be replaced by number 4, Drake Bird. So we are ready to go. Broughton with the pitch to Perry. He gets only a couple before he is taken down there by 59 and 57 of GRC, Austin Heisel and Christopher Carter. He'll get to the 31. Actually, he didn't gain yardage. He lost 2 on that pitch. They were conceding a couple of yards, and it was a tackle for loss. So 2nd and 12, ticking down to 9 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. Great crossing, going the wrong way early on this drive. Broughton under center. He will hand it off straight ahead. That won't gain much either. It is number 7, Jaquise Patterson. We've mentioned that fullback position has been by committee, and it hasn't been as productive as Colbert was, but they've managed to find some hits from that spot. A lot of times it's been on the option, though. That straight ahead play sometimes basically just there to keep the defense honest. 3rd and 12, so no gain on the play. Broughton back in the shotgun, claps his hands once, takes the snap, straight drop, complete to Perry. Perry reaches out. He knew he was shy of the marker, and he won't get there. He's taken down solo tackle by Jeremiah Mundy Lloyd, but he's going to be a good 3, maybe 4 yards shy of the first down, and he will have to punt. Great Crossing will have to punt as Perry will drop back on 4th and 4. So the first drive is a 3 and out. Perry touched the ball twice. I think that's going to be the key to success tonight is they're going to have to get the ball to him quite a bit against a strong GRC defense. He gets the kick away. It's decent hang time. It will take a roll that didn't really benefit either team. Bounced off the leg of Drake Bird, I believe, and will be whistled dead at the 28. So GRC back in business there. 8:08 to play in the first quarter. They lead 7-0 to the Cardinals. We'll mention a couple more sponsors during the break. West Banco, by all accounts, better. Greens Toyota of Lexington. Great people, great cars. Think Greens. Ozer Paint and Flooring, your hometown paint and flooring connection. And Scott County Veterinary Clinic. We love and treat your pets like our own. Come join our SC Veterinary Clinic family. Remind you, we got football tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m., the Freshman Super Bowl between Scott County and Great Crossing. We'll talk more about that as the evening goes along. Great Crossing has bragging rights so far this season at that level. Another quick pass is complete. Little screen that will gain the first down as out across the 38 and past the marker close to the 40 before Great Crossing can make the stop there. That was number 30, or rather number 3, Jeremiah Johnson on the catch. It was a gain of 12, and Jordan Manuel is hitting all his targets early in this one. That's another first down for the Cardinals out to the 40-yard line. GRC on its own side of the field, leading 7-0, 7:45 remaining first quarter. Manley hands off. Israel straight up the middle, a little bit to the right, spins and gets close to another first down. In fact, if he's marked right at the 50 where this official's standing, now he's going to back it up a half yard. I think it'll be second and very short, and that's a play where I think you might look for Manley to throw deep. It's almost a free down here.
Yeah, as you said earlier, Kyle, you got to hit him low.
Yeah, he's just you got to punish him. He's just a small back when you look at his stats. He's listed at 5'10". I don't necessarily believe that, 180 pounds, but he is, when he gets a full head of steam, he's tough to stop. And indeed, Manley will look to throw, but he's going to be swarmed there as a sack for the Warhawks. 65-22. Caden Allen has been one of the leading tacklers, number 22. And of course, Chase Little leads the team in sacks. I believe that is his 7th of the season. And that's on a relatively short season, as I know he missed at least the opening game at Woodford County with injury. That's a big play because you go from 2nd and 1 to 3rd and 7. Now GRC probably in another passing situation, although the way Israel's been running the ball tonight, who knows? 3 carries, he's picked up about 40 yards. And they will give it to him, and he's got a lot of room off left tackle. He will spin past midfield, and indeed, it is another first down for the Cardinals. So on 3rd and 7, they kind of say, what? Me worry? Just hand it off to the the leading ground gainer, probably one of the leading ground gainers in all of 6A in Israel, over 700 yards when you consider they've only played 6 games coming into tonight. 1st and 10 at the Great Crossing 49 for the Clark County Cardinals. George Rogers Clark High School. They've had trouble finding games or keeping games on the schedule too, and they've been fortunate. And that pass was incomplete as Manley threw it out, and it was juggled and not caught there. It was again Tate Spade. As we were saying, GRC, they've had a lot of late cancellations and situations fall through for them too. So now 2 of their 7 regular season games have been right here at the Bird's Nest as they played both county teams. Tied with Scott County 14-14 at the half about a month ago. So they can hang in with some big dogs. Played Bryan Station tough as well. Handoff, who else? Israel. He will look to spin free, but he is caught there and lassoed. Looks like Slade Earhart on the tackle. And that's a tackle for loss once again. So it's 3rd and 11. Started to talk about GRC's strength of schedule. 3 of their 4 losses have been to Scott County, Southwestern of Pulaski County, and Bryan Station. 3 teams that have a combined record of 20-2. So those are forgivable losses. That won't hurt your RPI rating at all for sure. Strength of schedule wise, Manley will roll to his right. He's under a lot of pressure, and he had to get rid of it. Looks like it was caught there, though. They're going to mark it as a completed catch, and it will be close to the first down. They're giving him an awfully good spot. I think it'll still be short. They're kind of hemming and hawing over there. 4th and inches, and not more than a foot. Now, I would say it's safe to bet who might get the ball here, although Manley's a tall drink of water. He could just sneak it up the middle, too. They are going to measure. It is right at the 39, maybe just a skosh short there, depending on where the marker was originally. 5:03 remaining first quarter. GRC up 7-0 and on the move again. Great Crossing Band, got a little Iron Man going, sounding good. And it is a first down for the Cardinals. Call it 1st and 10 at the 39 of Great Crossing. Warhawks and the Kelly Green Tops tonight. Little Notre Dame action, the alternate jerseys. With the blue pants. On homecoming night, we had the homecoming ceremonies before the game. A couple of athletes picking up the top honors there, Greg.
Yes, one of the baseball players picking up the King.
And of course, Reagan McLean from the volleyball team named Queen. Jacob Turlio is the King. Drop and throws deep for nobody in particular, as that was well covered into double coverage. Manley just kind of threw a post pattern to his favorite target, Dawson Gay, but he could not run under it, so it'll be 2nd and 10. It's a luxury you have on 1st and 10 when you got a back like Israel who's always moving forward and picking up big gains, even in negative down and distance situations. You can afford to do that a little bit.
Yeah, that opens it up for the back. If you have someone like Israel that can run it like that, you got a big offensive line with him running behind them. It's hard to see him too.
Yeah, he can hide easily, and he just had a lot of holes at the point of attack tonight. Didn't find much there as he gets the handoff. He will take it ahead to just shy of the 35. It'll be 3rd and a long 6 as we tick down to 4.5 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. Now they'll mark it back at the 36, so call it 3rd and 7. Last time it was 3rd and 7, we saw a run by Israel, but we've certainly seen Manley make some good gains on those quick throws, quick outs, and throws to the flats. They haven't been able to make much hay deep yet. He's in the shotgun. Manley takes the snap. He fakes to Israel, throws a quick slant to his tight end, and it is dropped. Would have taken a good catch, but number 88 is Dylan Gibson. He's another player. We didn't mention him in the pregame. He's another guy with big-time college potential at 6'4" and 251 pounds, and frankly, I think he looks bigger than that at this point in the season. They will maybe try to pooch punt here. This is where everybody is going to scream, watch the fake, or at least watch the hard count, where it's 4th and call it 7. They may try to angle it to the coffin corner here, as they say, and make Great Crossing go 90 yards.
Drake Bird back deep to return.
Drake Bird is standing at his 10-yard line. They do go with a fairly long count. They will kick it away. I think Bird's got to let that go and take his chances. It will. Oh, man, it dies right at the 2. I thought maybe the turf was going to help him there and take it in the end zone, but well, now we've got a bunch of whistles here. I don't see a flag, but I don't know what's going on. Oh, sideline warning. We've seen that a lot this season. So it'll be 1st and 97 for the Warhawks. It'll be marked at their 3 with 3:56 remaining here in the first quarter. Got a break in the action. We'll mention a few more sponsors. People's Bank, working together, building success. Come see them at 101 Canewood Center Drive. Time to Shine Car Wash. Your car will shine at Time to Shine Car Wash with 8 Lexington area locations, including right here adjacent to Walmart in Georgetown. 1st and 10 for the Warhawks. Long way to go. You just got to get some forward momentum here. I might keep it on the legs of Jake Broughton if I were Coach Bowling, but we will see. They will hand it off to the fullback and get nothing. Patterson probably the first man through. It'll be 2nd and 10. Or was it Cobbins? It is Cobbins getting up. They've been used interchangeably, kind of alternating drives. So it'll be Cobbins on this drive. 2nd and 10. Might have even lost a half a yard. This is where you just want to maybe think about getting some room for Caleb Perry to punt the ball down the road here. You got to get something going. So he's not standing on the back line of the end zone. Broughton will throw it deep. Nice play and a nice catch as they will get some room and then some. Peyton Harris on the grab over the top. And the Warhawks will have a first down and some elbow room at the 28-yard line. And that's good news indeed. Now what do we get? We get the officials again. Is this another sideline warning? It's going to be wiped out by a holding call. Are you kidding me? And it's a safety. It's going to be called holding in the end zone. I didn't even see the flag. Now I do. It's right there on the end in the Cardinals end zone. And that's kind of a head scratcher. And indeed, that's what the call is. And it is going to be 9-0 GRC. And the Boo Birds are not going to like it. So a holding penalty in the end zone, any penalty like that, holding or intentional grounding, is 2 points. And that's the case, as the Cardinals will make this a 2-possession game. I don't know.
I did not see that one.
He had some nice time to throw there, and he made a beautiful throw, as we said about Jake Broughton. He can put it on a dime, but the officials saw something we didn't, and our opinion doesn't count much. Translation at all. So it is GRC 9, GC nothing with 3:15 remaining in the first quarter. We'll round out our first wave of sponsor thank yous to Steve Skierman, Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. That makes me think of basketball season, which is already underway here in the Commonwealth, ready to meet all your insurance needs. Burger King, home of the Whopper, 2 Georgetown locations. And finally, Domino's Pizza. Check out their new Georgetown location at the corner of Champion Way and US 25. Beautiful 2-story location. It's going to be humming when restaurants fully open. We're still waiting. We're still fighting, as we've alluded to already on the broadcast. COVID has had its effect on this season, to say the least. Coach Bowling down there still trying to figure out what the genesis of that holding call was. That's a tough one because it nullifies a beautiful gain, and now you've got the free kick from the 20-yard line. Austin Welch will put it as deep as he can. It will be caught just shy of the 35, and a good return up past midfield and more. Oh, and I think that's going to be, that's going to be at least, that is a face mask and then some. It ripped his helmet right off. My goodness. So when the dust settles here, GRC is going to be in business near the 20-yard line, just shy of the red zone, and a chance to really put a stamp on this first quarter. They're already up 9-zip.
Defense has got to step up here and just have a good stop.
They got to have something for sure. That will be an easy call for a 15-yard. It's not the garden variety face mask. It may have saved a touchdown. There were plenty of green shirts in the area, but they had already picked up a good 40 yards on the return. And GRC will start from the Warhawk 18-yard line. So 9-0 already. And GC has not really done a lot to stop GRC yet. They forced the pooch punt last time, but that was a good drive in itself before it stopped. Israel, that little stretch play is working to perfection. Israel is in the end zone untouched until he crosses the goal line. 18 yards, his second TD of the night. And with 3:01 to play, the Warhawks are facing potentially a 16-0 deficit. The young lady will kick the extra point here. Shelby Vaughn, 5'2" senior. They had some kicking issues. They had an open tryout a couple of weeks ago. She was invited, had her arm twisted, to say the least. I saw the story on the news. She didn't even really want to do it at first, but now we see why she won it. Is she is once again true split straight down the middle. And it's Cardinals 16, Warhawks nothing, and that's how quickly it can unravel. You make a nice play, you think you got some momentum going. Not only does it get wiped out, but the huge safety and the change of possession there have made this a completely different ballgame.
Yes.
So we mentioned tomorrow we will be on the air bright and early. A little too early for me, to be honest with you, on a Saturday morning. But I'm going to be here at 10:30 for the Freshman Super Bowl. It's Great Crossing and Scott County. And we mentioned Great Crossing got the bragging rights early in the season as they picked up a 20-0 victory. Scott County won 3 in a row after that. And they will try to even the score tomorrow here at the Bird's Nest. We'll have some awards to give out, offensive and defensive plays for each team. Kind of Coach McKee has been the driving force behind getting the freshmen some coverage and some love here on the NFHS and News Graphic and the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network. So we will be here to see the next wave of Cardinals and Warhawks. Kick is fairly shallow once again, caught at the 30. The return will pretty much die there as well, as the Warhawks won't get anything extra out of it, but they will take command and take possession here with 2:55 remaining first quarter. So the George Rogers Clark Cardinals have been impressive here out of the gate, Coach Stratton, and if you're GC, you just got to get some first downs at this point. They haven't been able to get some momentum going at all.
They need a good, long, sustained drive.
Yeah, you need to move the chains a few times. They will run the option play with Broughton keeping it up the middle. He'll only gain about 3, maybe 4 before he's taken down. He and Perry have been kind of the most of the running games since Colbert went out earlier in the season. It has been either Perry out of the Wildcat or on the toss or reverse, or it has been Broughton running those keepers and sometimes making the late pitch to one of his backs to do the rest. He will again keep it after the fake and get it up to the 40. So some good gains here. A couple of matching 4-yard gains by the senior quarterback. Be third and a long 2, just shy of the 40-yard line. So we said they needed a first down. They're in position to get one here as the clock dwindles down to the 2-minute mark in the first quarter. 2-possession game, but that's with touchdowns and PATs right now, 2-point conversions. It's been a tough first quarter for the Warhawks. Long count under center. Broughton will keep it again. Good fake will get him the first down. Then he gets popped as he's going out of bounds. He was kind of directing traffic and communicating with Peyton Harris there, and as he did, he got whacked by the GRC tackler. Looked like Blake Freeman, senior linebacker. Number 22 was also involved, Mundy Lloyd, Jeremiah Mundy Lloyd. It is a first down. You will get 1 yard past the stick to the 43. And the Great Crossing Warhawks are in business. 3-game winning streak coming in. This is definitely their toughest opponent in a while. And GRC making a statement early, up 16-0. Quick throw by Broughton to the left side. It is Coulter. It's been his favorite target, has Jacob Coulter. There's going to be a flag. Might be a hold that didn't help. Could be a face mask, I guess. We'll see what the officials say. The gain was only for a yard. It will be illegal use of hands, so a little block in the back that didn't gain the Warhawks much, and it will set them back on first down. So instead of being 2nd and 9, it will be 1st and 14. As they will mark it 5 yards from the spot. Ball spotted at the 38. Warhawks just picked up their initial first down of the game. Jake Broughton in the shotgun. He's got Tyrus Cobbins back there. He will go to the left, pitch it to Cobbins. Cobbins with some room on the corner, gets past the original line of scrimmage before he's knocked out of bounds. So they'll pick up what they lost. It will be 2nd and 9. And that's what you want to do when you pick up a penalty. At least get back to the situation you were in. Certainly helps with your play calling, gives you some versatility here. They'll mark it at the 45. They actually got a bonus yard out of that exchange. It'll be 2nd and 8. Cobbins still recovering there. He took quite a pop at the end of the play. Hard-hitting GRC team coming in here tonight as they want to continue their winning streak as well. Broughton with a quick 2-step drop completes it to the left side. It's Jacob Coulter again. We just were saying he had the 3 long touchdown catches in the win over Grant County. That was 2 weeks ago. Last week's game postponed. A couple of opponents were on the hook there. First Henry Clay and then Oldham County. Neither of those games came to fruition, so a little bit of rust for both teams. GRC had its game canceled as well last week. 3rd and 3 for the Warhawks right at midfield. Final seconds of the first quarter, down to 15. Broughton under center, barking out signals. Cobbins behind him. Cobbins will get the handoff. They figure it's 2 chances. I think there'll be a face mask there as the fans, the sideline, everybody over here wanted it, and it was they had a good view of it. We'll see if they give them 5 or 15. It will be a personal foul, and that will be big on the final play of the first quarter because it will give the Warhawks their biggest gain of the night, 15 yards inside the 35 of GRC. So it's been a good drive here to get some momentum at the end of the quarter. You said they needed some forward motion here, and they found it. They found it with I think the plays that I like best in their repertoire as far as that triple option is letting Broughton keep it himself. He's got the great presence of mind being a senior. It will be spotted at the 33. The time will run out. So at the end of one quarter here at Bird's Nest Stadium on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network, it is George Rogers Clark, 16, and Great Crossing, nothing. But the Warhawks in business at the GRC 33. Want to remind you tonight's Player of the Game awards. The offensive player of the game will be Galvin's on Main. One of our watch most of these Bird's Nest Broadcasting games there just about every Friday night if you're unable to get in the stadium. And, of course, the defensive player of the game, as we mentioned, Brickhouse Properties. Buying and selling made easy. Defense has been interesting for Great Crossing. We mentioned that Caleb Perry averaging just about 20 tackles a game. That is just an enormous amount of action for one. You know, he's listed at safety, and I've had people say, well, do you want your safety getting 20 tackles a game? He's almost like a sweeper in soccer where he's just all over the field, and wherever the ball is, he's going to go get it.
Yes, and that's what it is. Kind of everywhere you look, he's you never know what position he's going to wind up being in, and he's just that good.
Just like we saw the play with Israel earlier in the game where he caught him from behind, or that was going to be a touchdown. He can break up passes, certainly, if they need him to do that. And on the offensive side, we said he can run he can hit the corner on that option play, or he can go up and get a jump ball. We may see that here. Is headed right to left now are the Warhawks to start the second quarter at the GRC 33. Broughton in the shotgun. He's got Coulter out to his left. And the ball is tipped as he throws it right. It was Perry over there, but he kind of telegraphed it, and it was behind Caleb, and it was knocked down incomplete. Second down and 10.
I think GRC kind of knew where they were going with that.
Yeah, I think I anticipated it might. I was thinking maybe more of a deep ball there to start the quarter just to see if everybody had their legs under them. Sometimes that's a good time to catch the defense, but they went with the slant. Broughton on the option again, pitches it. He will find his man Cobbins, who is lassoed at the 30, knocked out of bounds, maybe just shy of the 30. He'll gain a couple, but it will be third and long. They are still a little bit outside of Austin Welch's field goal range, but he has become a weapon. He kicked a 35-yarder against Grant County. It would be 49 yards from here, so not going to happen at this point. They do need a first down. 4-down territory, certainly, trailing 16-0 here early in the second quarter. Broughton, shotgun, straight drop, throws deep. He's got a man. It's Fain, but it's overthrown. He was all alone. He would have had to catch it over the shoulder. 4th down and 9. And we'll see what the Warhawks do in this situation. Got to throw it again, I would think. Of course, if Perry's on the field, you can do any number of things.
Yeah, I think they're keying on him as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a me and my shadow situation. He's got a couple of shadows tonight. 4th and long. Warhawks need some points. Right now, they just need a first down. They're at the Cardinals 32. They need to get to the 23, and now we'll have a timeout as the Warhawks will talk it over. 11:41 remaining second quarter. This is one of the few games going on in Kentucky tonight. It was originally, for a lot of teams, I think it was a bye week. It was a fill-in week, or they were going to see what they had at this point in the schedule and maybe hope to get a game. Originally, I think back in the day, this was actually East Jessamine. Last week's game originally, if you look back far enough, would have been Franklin County. So Great Crossing had 3 different opponents in the Week 8 portion of the schedule. And as we mentioned, 3 different opponents in Week 9 before GRC became the 3rd and came to the rescue. Beautiful night. I don't think you could hope for much better than this on the first night of November. It's unpredictable, of course. We could have snowflakes by the time the playoffs start next week. As we mentioned, we will be here for Scott County and Grant County. Unofficially, that's the matchup. The Scott County will be the number 1 seed. The upshot of everything that happened with all the cancellations, the way the KHSAA does the cancel games this year is they award the quote-unquote win to the team with a higher RPI. So Scott County will get the benefit over Douglas there. 4th and 9. Broughton throws deep. It's underthrown. It's going to be picked. He might have been better off knocking it down, although he's going to get some semblance of a return. They still do not have him down. It's Mundy Lloyd, the safety, 6'1.5", 190 pounds. He does not look that big. They got a lot of guys that fall under that category due to the GRC Cardinals, and they will be in business at their own 40-yard line or near it as the interception is as good as a punt, and it really it'd be no harm, no foul. The ball will be about where they had it at the 37. So.
Big key here. Get a stop.
Yeah, because now with the Money Lloyd interception, that gives you some. It's a little different kind of momentum than if you'd just gotten stopped, I think. And you want to talk about momentum. Azariah Israel has plenty of it every time he gets the ball. He'll take it up across the 42, the 43.
Pick up a 7 on the play. It's going to make it a 2nd down and 3.
2nd and 3, as you can probably hear the PA behind us. At the 44 of George Rogers Clark, the Clark County Cardinals. First ever meeting between these two programs. They are from 6A. As there will be a penalty, I think that'll go the Warhawks' way. It'll be a false start. So it'll be 2nd and 8. GRC Class 6A, of course, Great Crossing 5A for now at least. Heard some rumors that the KHSAA may keep the football classifications the way they are for another year with all the COVID situation being what it was. And I'm not sure that's official yet, but a lot of scuttlebutt on what's going to happen in the future, whether Great Crossing will be in 6A themselves down the road. I'm sure it's inevitable at some point. Ball at the 39. Handoff Manley, and that was read beautifully by Caden Allen, the TFL, as he throws down Azariah Israel for a loss of 4. He got his forward progress, but only at the 35, and it's going to be 3rd and double stakes, 12 yards to go for the Cardinals. Allen just has great anticipation. I've seen him make a bunch of tackles for loss this year on his home turf. This defense, very opportunistic. They've had 5 scores off of interceptions or fumbles. They could use one right now, Greg.
Yes, they could. Very much so.
Did that in a 2-week span against Moco and against Western Hills. Actually, they had one in the Shelby County game as well. That is tipped and almost picked off by Mr. Allen. You're a Shelby County Rocket, aren't you, back in the day? Or was
I am.
They came in here and dealt the Warhawks a defeat on short notice in week 3. That was a good stop by the defense. It wasn't a takeaway, but the penalty certainly helped, and GRC will have to punt.
Exactly what they needed.
Absolutely. You just can't see that deficit grow any more than it already sits at 16 zip. Drake Bird back at his own 35 to receive the punt. It is a good one, angled toward the sideline, and it will be marked out at the 34. So a 31-yard punt for the Cardinals will put the Warhawks offense back on the field, 1st and 10 at their own 34, 9:54 remaining here in the second quarter. Good regular season finale matchup here. The Warhawks 3-3 coming in, the Cardinals 2-4, both teams on winning streaks after starting the season 0-3 and 0-4 respectively. Warhawks have beaten teams that they knew they had a chance to defeat, I think, and this is a good measuring stick game going into the playoffs where they will meet the uber-talented Frederick Douglass Broncos next weekend. That is a fumble. Caden Allen getting a rare carry. I think he got back on top of it. They are unearthing the pile there. They are marking it 2nd down. They're saying Allen got the ball back as he will hand it to the official. No gain, 2nd and 10. And that'll usher Jaquise Patterson back into the game. That's a good way to not get many more carries when you put the ball on the ground. Allen certainly has earned his keep on the defensive side of the football this year. Broughton in the shotgun. Straight drop. Throws to the left. It is complete to Coulter. A little double coverage there. He is taken down by his opposite number.
Number 18, Coulter.
Well, I thought it was a number 18, but it's not. It's number 48. That is Kareem Grant.
Number 48, Grant.
And it is going to be marked close to a first down. It's right at the 40, just on the bottom, 43 and a half. So 3rd and a short yard. Broughton under center. Might be a situation where you see a quarterback sneak. Tyrus Cobbins, or rather Jaquise Patterson behind him. It'll be Patterson that gets the ball. First man through will get the first down. Patterson to about the 47. So a good gain by the fullback, halfback, whatever you want to call it in this offense. Single setback, Jaquise Patterson. Sophomore, 5'7", 160. He's gotten some valuable time back there with the injury to his classmate, Caspin Colbert. New set of downs for the Warhawks, just shy of midfield. Again, it's Patterson. He's going to be stacked up this time for a loss of a couple.
Number 7, Patterson, loss of 1 on the play.
As we tick down to 8 minutes remaining in the first half, the Warhawks
Number 33, man.
on the move again. They need a score.
11 for the Warhawks.
They got on GRC's side of the field on their last drive. Interception on 4th down ended that one. Defense got a 3 and out that was badly needed. Now Broughton with the option left won't get much as he is triple teamed there by a bunch of white shirts. Number 44, Sam Neely, was a key to it.
44, Neely, and number 42, Clem.
3rd and 11 at the 45.
45-yard line.
Broughton in the shotgun. Single setback is Patterson. He will drop straight with the man in his face. He will throw it right and complete it to Perry for a first down. Beautiful throw. Perry had 2 guys right in the vicinity, but Broughton dropped it in the bucket. The chains will move. 1st and 10 at the GRC 42. So that's the 2nd straight drive that has moved into Cardinal territory.
Maybe some of that rust is wearing off.
I think so. The offense is picking its spots here a little bit. It's been a nickel and dime approach, but it's working out right now. Again, Broughton to throw. He will find his man Coulter. Coulter had to dive to get it, though, on the left side. It's a gain, a short gain. Well, they'll give him 5.
That's a gain of about 6 on the play.
Jacob Coulter's been the favorite target along with Perry. Perry's been the deep threat. Coulter, he's kind of that medium range, although we said he had 3 touchdowns of 20 or more yards against Grant County. They haven't really tested the waters that deep yet. Broughton in the shotgun once again. He will throw quickly to his right. Perry, just let him do his thing out there as Caleb will get another first down for GC inside the 30. So the momentum is palpable now for the Warhawks. The crowd, such as it is in the COVID situation, I would say it's the biggest crowd of the year. I don't know what the ticket situation, if it's still 2 per participant, but they're making a lot of noise tonight. And they've got some reason to on this drive. Good one for the Warhawks. Broughton will keep it, try to sidestep the first tackler, but can't get away from the next 3 as they will build the wall at the 30. It'll be no gain. 2nd and 10 at the 29.
That's going to make it a 2nd and 10 for the Warhawks from the GRC 29-yard line.
Broughton still smarting from that hit as he walks to the sideline to get the call. It might bear some watching as the play clock ticks down to 10. Broughton in the shotgun. Looks like Perry is the single setback. He will take the toss to the right. He will evade the first. He will cut back to the left and lose a bundle of yardage. As that didn't fool GRC one bit. They torched Grant County with that play, but they're not playing Grant County tonight for sure. as the Cardinals have come in here out for blood. Their defense is yet to give up a point. It is 3rd and 16 from the Cardinal 35. The Warhawks need to get something together before the half. Last drive ended on an interception inside the 10-yard line. Broughton will fake the pitch, and he will throw it back to the left. It's Coulter, kind of a screen, but not a lot of blockers there. He will get back toward just shy of the original line of scrimmage at the 30. Still going to be 4th and long. Will be 4 minutes remaining in the half.
Make it a 4th down and 11 for the Warhawks from the GRC 30-yard line.
Broughton communicating, and now they're going to call a timeout. He had a guy in the wrong place. Kelly was kind of moving from one side to the other, and looked like some confusion on the play, so they're going to talk it over. I believe that's the second of the 3 timeouts that GC has burned so far. George Rogers Clark has all 3 of its timeouts remaining, so that may play a role as if they get the ball back with some time to play with.
Yeah, we need to put some points on the board.
Yeah,
right now.
down 16 to zip. You want something to go into the half feeling good about. After that, you got to get 2 things here are key. Get some points on the board, and then defense get that last stop, and then you get the ball to start the second half. And maybe we've seen that benefit the Warhawks a couple of times recently, that little double possession situation. So first things first, they are going to try a very long field goal. We've said Austin Welch is a weapon. We're going to see how much of one. It will be a 47-yard attempt with Perry holding. He's going to have to keep it low and not get it blocked here. All-state soccer player, first team All-East is Austin Welch. He leaves it short and to the left. So nice attempt to get some points on the board. Maybe their highest percentage play, believe it or not, where it was 4th and 11. But GC's attempt goes short and left, and they will remain scoreless with 3:45 remaining in the first half. And then it will be the 30-yard line. This is not NFL rules where they do it where it was spotted on the kick attempt. So 7-yard difference. First and 10 for the Cardinals at the 20. There must have been that's right. That's the other high school rule. When the ball goes out of the end zone, it's like a touchback on the missed field goal attempt. Anyway, it's a 9-yard completion to Dawson Gay over on the GRC sideline. It'll be 2nd and 1. DeQuise Brown on the tackle. Jordan Manley, the quarterback for GRC, has put the ball right on the money a bunch of times here in the first half. GC defense buckled down as of late. It's also been this guy, Azariah Israel, who gets another first down and adds another double-digit gain to his coffers out to the 43. He's tackled there by Drake Bird and Peyton Harris. And Caleb Perry was in it as well, as usual. Markers will move with 3:30. Clock stops briefly. Azariah Israel, we don't have our stats. They don't contract with WL Stats here at Great Crossing as of yet, but Israel's got to be up close to the 100-yard mark for the first half, I would think. Ball marked at the 43. Manley will hand it off to Israel, and why not? He stutter steps, gets past midfield, out right at the stick. Another gain of 10. Perry with the stop.
He
Yeah.
reads the field very well.
No, doesn't he, though? I mean, he just has that sense. Just the football IQ is off the charts. And that's the thing, no matter how physically gifted you are, that's the thing that people can see on film, too. When those major colleges kind of get on your huddle, they know they can sense that. He has a nose for the ball. 2nd and inches. They will hand it straight up the middle, and it's a rugby scrum and another big gain for the Cardinals across the 35. I was going to say, that was not Israel.
Yep.
That was a different back there, number 81, listed as a tight end, Jalen Berry. But he apparently has some skills as a fullback, too. He just dragged the stack to the 34. Gain of 15. Jarve Ray on the stop, but Cards on the move with 2:20 to play in the half. Now it's Israel again. He finds room going left to right. He's dragged down by Wiley and Allen. Inside the 30 to the 28. Gain of 6 for Israel. 2nd and 4. 2 minutes to play, first half. GRC knocking on the door again, trying to build on a 16-0 lead. Crucial series for the GC defense to stay in this football game. As we said, they'll get the first half. They'll receive the first half kickoff. So if they can get a stop, it's a good situation for them. Manley will fake the handoff, throw across his body to the left, and it's dropped. The same guy that just picked up the first down running the ball a minute ago, Barry, couldn't keep his hands on it over there. 3rd and 4. Clock stops. That's the good news for the Cardinals with 1:34. It's the bad news for the Warhawks. Warhawks defense hasn't had a takeaway in a while. We said that was kind of their bread and butter for about a 3-week stretch. Now would be a great time. Manley in the shotgun. Hands off to Israel. That stretch play has been gold tonight, but he will get stopped shy of the first down. Several green shirts there. Ray, Wiley, Fisher, Lacasco. He got to the 27, so Israel didn't get a really good spot there. I think that's kind of interesting. In fact, the down marker is at the 25, so he kind of thought the same thing I did. If the ball stays there, it'll be 4th and 3. They're talking about it. There's a timeout GRC at any rate, 1:14 to go. Makes a big difference, although not much of a difference when you have Azariah Israel. Has committed to Louisville, as I understand, as a walk-on. I had heard he had some MAC offers, but casting his bread on the waters at U of L. And we're seeing that GRC, we talked about their star power, but they've got a well-rounded team here tonight, and they are showing it in all phases so far. Up by 2 scores and a pair of conversions ultimately because of the safety. I don't go as far as to say it's a controversial play, but it was a holding call in the end zone that Great Crossing was kind of mystified by. It will be 4th and 3. The band on the field helping the serving as the dance team right now during the timeout. Helping out the cheerleaders. Big play in the game for the Warhawks defensively. 4th and 3. Manley straight quick drop, throws it first down at the 20 to Dawson Gay. He will be reeled in there by Bird as well as Ray and Allen. But with 67 seconds to play, fresh set of downs for the Cardinals at the 19. I don't know. They do have a kicker, as we mentioned. The young lady has kicked some extra points. I don't know if they'd want to take a chance with a field goal. I think they've got plenty of time to score the touchdown if they wish. They've got 2 timeouts to play with.
Well, they use that quick out.
Yes, they have used it a ton tonight, and it has gained them. It's put them in good down and distance situations. They've used a lot on first down. They used it there on fourth. Israel with the carry up the middle. A lot of whistles, and he gets thrown down. You don't want to get a personal foul there. Combs was involved in the stop along with Harris and some others. He'll mark it at the 13, so another good gain for Israel. Call it at the 14. It'll be 5. 2nd and 5. 35 seconds to play. 33-32. 2 timeouts. Manley will throw it to the end zone. It is nicely read there and knocked down. Could have been picked off. Beautiful play by Daquise Brown. And that's a big one there. 3rd and 5. The clock will stop with 23 seconds.
Yes, if he had picked that one off, there was a lot of green in front of him.
Yes, sir. The only thing that would have stopped him is falling on his back in the end zone there, but it was 100 yards to the house otherwise if he could have made a clean catch in stride. Another stretch play to Israel. He can't spin to daylight as he will be covered up by Perry and Wiley at the 12. So 4th down and decision time, 10 seconds, 9 seconds. They're going to have to use a timeout regardless. Down to 5 now, and we'll see if they elect to bring Shelby Vaughn out to try to kick a field goal. That would be big. It would make it definitely a 3-score game. Right now, still within reach for 2 scores for the Warhawks. A lot of things have to go right for a field goal in high school. They've got a different kicker they're sending out now, looks like. Nope, same kicker, just the holder. The holder is Sam Clements. It would be a 30-yarder for Ms. Vaughn from the right hash mark. This will be the final play of the half, more than likely, with 5 seconds showing. Does Great Crossing use its final timeout to ice her or something of that nature? We'll see. Snap is good. Hold is good. The kick is short, it looks like. Yes. And that will be the final play of the half. So GRC, both teams with a missed field goal in the final 4 minutes, keeps us at 16-0 in favor of the Cardinals as the teams go to their outdoor huddle. We won't say locker rooms at this stage of the COVID outbreak, pandemic. So we'll review the first half scoring here a little bit, and then we'll probably talk some baseball, Coach. How's that?
That sounds good.
Is GRC with the big lead early here in the first quarter. They put up all 16 points early. Azariah Israel with the 2 scores. We'll also have a performance from the marching band that you'll be able to watch. Let's review those touchdown runs by Israel. 10-yarder with 9:35 remaining in the first quarter. Shelby Vaughn. I don't know why I typed Parker. I want to give her due on Twitter. As that made it 7-0 at that early stage. And that was an impressive drive by GRC. And as you mentioned, they used those quick out passes to perfection on that drive.
Yeah, and using those, and then coming back with Israel, running the ball, it opens it up for him.
Yeah,
a lot.
they had another gain on that drive of about 20-25 that Perry saved the first down, rather saved the touchdown, but on the very next play, Israel went to the house, or 2 plays later. Safety for holding in the end zone. We mentioned that with 3:15 remaining in the first quarter. Now that was set up by the pooch punt that pinned the Warhawks at their 3-yard line. Broughton with a nice quick drop and a throw over the middle to Harris for what looked like it would get him out of the cellar, but the laundry was in the end zone, and it all went for naught. It became 9-0. That gave the free kick and a long return, which was extended by a pretty gruesome face mask. Actually, the helmet ended up on the turf. And on the very next play, Azariah Israel went 18 yards to the end zone untouched. And with 3:01 remaining in the first quarter, it was 16-0. And that is where we stand as a scoreless second quarter. Jeremiah Mundy Lloyd interception stopped a promising great crossing drive. The next great crossing drive also looked good, but died with 4 minutes remaining in the half. They tried a 47-yard field goal by Austin Welch, which was short and to the left. That set up the drive by GRC and the 30-yard attempt by Shelby Vaughn, which was just short of the crossbar, leaving us at 16-0. As we've got the halftime delivery of goodies.
It's very important now, start of the second half. Warhawks getting the ball to
that's
come
just
out.
it. That makes the fact that they were able to shut them down there, as I think is huge in this game, being attainable or slipping away rather quickly. Now you're still within 2 scores. You get that second half kickoff. You get to talk about some things. Come out of the huddle and maybe catch them with some stuff they didn't see on film, and get yourself right back in this game. So that is the hope if you're a Warhawk fan. If you're a Cardinal fan, well, I think you're just going to keep trying to feed the Warhawks a steady diet of Azariah Israel. He had a half. That's a biblical sounding name, and he had a half of biblical proportions. He rained down fire and brimstone upon the Warhawks, and it is a 16-0 lead for the Cardinals. I'll be watching film later and adding up his yards and getting dizzy, I'm sure. It reminds me of the kid from Grant County, Mr. Sutherland, had a couple hundred yards 2 weeks ago, but that was in a much different type of game for GC, as they hung a big loss on the Braves that night. Baseball, we think it's football season, but you just had a World Series I was reading about. Tell us about that, Coach Stratton.
Yes. Wanted to get the guys in, get some games in this fall, as we lost that season back in the spring. And so we wanted to get some competition going. We had enough guys, this fall out. We had close to 40 guys out for the fall, which was a blessing. And the guys really wanted to get in some game action, which they all needed. Yeah. And so we wanted to put a World Series together for them, Navy Kelly, and put a little incentive on it for the guys. And the winners were going to get a meal,
all right,
provided, and but the losers have to serve the meal. So that made it a little better of a competition. But the series went very well. And,
7 games.
7 games, right down to the final out last night, and with the Team Kelly coming out with a 6-5 victory, and a lot of great things come out of the series, and a lot of growth, especially from our younger guys. And that's exactly what we wanted to see out of that.
It must have been so frustrating, and I'm sure you've had to talk about it with everybody who's seen you for 8 months now. But to be that close, Team 1, having your preseason, having, I'm sure, probably at least a scrimmage or at least intra-squad stuff going, and then just have the rug pulled out from under you, basically.
Yeah, that was, we had our first scrimmage the Saturday before. March 13th was the day that we were all shut down. And And then our second scrimmage was that following day, the 14th, but the 13th we had to pull the players together, and that was going to be our first official practice on our new field that day as well. That was tough, and to have to stand in front of the guys and tell them that we're shut down and for who knows how long. And so after a while, then everything, it's tough. It was tough on them, tough on us, and everybody else. So we're looking forward to this year. As of now, the KHSA says we will play.
Yeah, they've been pretty committed to not losing a second season, or from everything they've said. And I think football has gone as well as we could hope too, in terms of most schools, I think, policing themselves pretty well, making sure the fans abide by the restrictions, making sure the players do that as well, keeping them as safe as humanly possible. And so I believe that's their commitment as well. I took a little walk a couple of weeks ago, was covering the region and district soccer here, and I took a walk over to your facility. I hadn't really taken a look at it since it was finished up. And Coach, you and I have been to a lot of baseball and softball fields in this great state, and I don't think many of them compare to what you all are playing on over there. Talk a little bit about your complex.
Yeah, we are blessed beyond measure for what we have here. For our baseball facility, I call it the Warhawks Stadium. It's more like a stadium setting. Kind of reminds you of a Legend, smaller version of a Legends field, but with all the other facilities that we have, with our locker room being built into our dugout, with the field house that we have, with our hitting cages and the turf area for our workout, along with the weight room for all the teams to use. But just to have the field that we have is, like I said, it's a blessing to have something like that, because, as you said, I've been to many, many fields and all around the state and in other states as well, and I've really yet to see one that compares to what we have.
Building a program from scratch, I've talked to just about all the coaches on the staff over here about that. And what's it been like on the baseball side of things? It seems like from the very beginning, I went to your first meeting, it seemed like the numbers have been pretty extraordinary for a new program.
They are, and again, very blessed with that. A lot of excitement. The excitement is still there this year, and we're just building upon that. Had a lot of great players. I was blessed to have some come over from Scott County with me here, and we're building up on that. Of course, losing a season there of competition, and that hurt, but the guys are ready to go, and we've got a lot of talent at all levels, and a lot of good young talent coming up through the system, and so in building up on it, that's the foundation that we're building up on, is those seniors that we have and the upperclassmen right now.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I think this is going to be a unique season, because if you think about it, just about every team in Kentucky is going to have a varsity roster that doesn't have a lot of varsity experience going. I mean, all these players, even the seniors, were sophomores last time we were playing baseball, and that's going to make it wide open, I would think.
It is, and like you said, everyone's in the same boat. A lot of schools lost a lot of seniors last year, especially in this area, but we're very fortunate with the seniors that we have. Like I said, they are a very talented group, and getting those games in this fall helped out tremendously in that regard of having missed those last spring. But now we just keep going, getting ready for the spring, which is really not that far off when you think about it.
Now, baseball-wise, were a lot of your guys able to work out on their own over the summer, or how did that go with the COVID situation?
A lot of the guys, all the guys worked out. Some played on travel teams, and the others who chose not to worked out on their own. We were hoping to have some availability to work with them. Some of the coaching staff, we were going to work with them, but not being able to do that, they were able to get out on their own and work. And we gave them workouts to do, and most of them followed those. So that helped out dramatically.
You have a lot of your baseball players baseball only. Do they play other sports? How is the breakdown there?
Most all of them. We have 8 in football. We have 1 in soccer and 1 in wrestling. So we have some
guys that juggle. Huh?
And I also have 1 in basketball. So it's good. I always encourage them to play multiple sports and play what they can when they can. And so we do have a lot that's just baseball. So that makes it good all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Talk about your path to becoming a varsity baseball coach, because it's you've been involved in the game your whole life, but this is a first for you at the high school level, isn't it, as far as being a head coach?
It is. I've been assistants at the different places. Scott County was the longest for 9 years. I've coached back in Shelby County and in Louisville. And but yeah, coming here and then getting a lot of good work in at Scott County, being the lead assistant there for, like I said, the 9 years, and then just getting the opportunity here again. I'm very blessed with this opportunity and what we have, and been around the game, like you said, my whole life. Played on all different levels. I've coached at the college level too. So, but I'm glad to be where I am.
Yeah. Having been around it and having seen it from all those angles, where is the sport of baseball at the youth level right now? You hear about, as years go by, they say, well, maybe at least the major league game doesn't captivate young people the way it used to. But I look around here, I've been in this area for almost 5 years, and it seems like baseball really thrives here, and the kids are really committed to it, and it's still a big deal.
It is. In this area, there's been no drop off as far as youth baseball, and which is really good. And we try to work as a staff. I want to try to work with the younger leagues as well, and the coaches and the players. And we'll be having a camp come up in January, a middle school camp, and try to work with those guys and to keep that going with the youth baseball. But it has not dropped off in this area whatsoever. If it's done anything, it continues to
grow.
Yes.
What's the schedule look like for this year? I was talking about you off the air with you about that off the air, and I guess it's a full schedule, and now we're all, of course, everything remains to be seen, I guess, with the virus and everything. But what are some of the highlights of it?
And we're going to, of course, without traveling, out of state this year, but we're playing several 3-ways on Saturdays. But we're also going to take a weekend trip down to Apollo and be playing a 3-way with Apollo and McCracken County, which that's a very good baseball area there as well. And so that's going to be really good feat for us. We got a Warhawks Classic coming up at the 1st of May here, which going to have Bardstown, Greene County, and Williamstown come join us for a weekend. And that should be a lot of fun with some really good teams. We play Scott County this year, the second game of the season.
Oh, good.
Right here at home. And
I was wondering if y'all were playing each other, because it's good to have that Battle of the Birds. It's kind of become the tradition in all sports, I guess.
Yeah, we tried to get in early this year on the scheduling so we can make sure that we got it in for the first part of the season. And even though it's probably going to be cold, but I'm sure there'll be a big crowd.
You just never know what you're going to get in March, but quite often, yes, it's cold. But I'm sure as many people as are allowed to be there will be there for that one. We are just about ready to start second half. The clock is down to 0. Teams are on the field doing their final stretching. They'll put 3 minutes back on the clock, but just to review where we stand, it is 16-0. George Rogers Clark with the lead over the Great Crossing Warhawks. I'm Cal Oakes, along with Coach Greg Stratton. James Scoggin is our producer and photographer down on the field tonight. And, of course, got to thank Mike Scoggin, my publisher at the News Graphic. If you're listening on newsgraphic.com, please do consider subscribing to the printed/online version of what we do. It keeps us able to do what we do and getting around to all the sports for both these schools and enjoying ourselves immensely while we're doing it. So this is not the final Bird's Nest broadcast of the football season by a long shot, as we will be back here tomorrow morning on what's supposed to be a warm Saturday. I don't know how warm it'll be at that point in the day, but 10:30 a.m. for the Freshman Super Bowl. It'll be the second game of the season between Great Crossing and Scott County freshmen. As Great Crossing will be looking for the sweep. They won 20-0. Those two teams also played a 7-6 thriller last year. Of course, all different kids on the freshman team last year, but the Cardinals came out on top in that one. So it's been a back and forth series, as I think we continue to see good athletes aspiring to move through both programs, and that's only going to bode well for the future. And then we've got the playoffs. Right now, it looks like both those games, assuming we have two of them, and it seems like a safe assumption, will involve Scott County at the very least, as they will be the top seed. They will host Grant County next week. They'll be coming off, they will not have had a game in almost a month by the time they take the field, as they had an off week followed by 2 COVID quarantine weeks. So it will have been 28 days between games for the Cardinals as they take on the Braves. Will be heavily favored in that one, will the Cardinals. And then the Warhawks will go to Frederick Douglass and face the Broncos, who've had kind of a strange season. As far as I know, they will have only played 5 games going into that one, and this will be game number 7 for the Hawks. So they will be the busier team, certainly, but the Broncos on paper, with all their D1 prospects, have had another fine season. They lost to 6A North Hardin on a last-second field goal in the season opener, and then they've blown out their other 4 opponents. So a lot of people speculating at the start of the season that it would be Scott County and Frederick Douglass once again. If that game happens, it won't be until the second round of the playoffs, as it was twice canceled during the regular season due to the COVID map, which, if you've seen it lately, is a sea of red. In fact, these two teams here, 2 of the few counties in the state, a vast minority that are only in the orange or yellow or whatever color you may call it, but 82 counties, I believe, today in the red out of 120. So it's certainly at a peak situation, and we hope as basketball season gets closer, we will talk more about our plans for that schedule, but certainly an aggressive schedule here on the Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network for that, and we hope to get in most of those games. Certainly, you talk about tournament weekend situations for baseball. We've got a big one for basketball early, as the Toyota Classic will be in December this year, so that 4-day event won't be the same as it's been for obvious reasons, but we will certainly hope to get all the games in and have them here on the Bird's Nest Network. Second half kickoff getting ready to take place. Drake Bird will drop back along with Daquise Brown. Shelby Vaughn will get ready to kick it away for the Cardinals from her own 40-yard line.
The second half for GRC, number 32, Horton.
Sorry, it will be Chandler Horton kicking off. They have a different kicker for the kickoffs than they do for the place kicking duties. It's in the, it's kind of on the ground, a little squibber that gets inside the 20 before it's picked up by Bird. Bird's had some nice returns this year, a decent one here to the 35, and a late flag. We'll see if that's a face mask or a hold. It's in the vicinity where it could be either one. The official coming in from the sideline threw it right at the pile. And it will be an illegal block in the back. So push it back.
That's not what we wanted.
No, because after a nice return, you've got to mark it off from the spot, and it'll be probably back toward the 25-yard line when all is said and done. 10 from the spot. Yep. 10 yards from the spot of the foul will be the Warhawk 26-yard line, as that's where they'll start this drive. First drive of the second half. They've been scoreless to this point. They have not been shut out this season. Not even close. Broughton will keep it to his right, get about to the line of scrimmage, maybe force it ahead for a half yard before he's taken down over by the Cardinals sideline. Not much there for the senior quarterback. As we said, the running game has been by committee since Colbert went down. Broughton, Perry, Patterson, Cobbins, all getting a piece of the action. Fain a little bit. And Peyton Harris occasionally. And a flag this time will be on GRC. I guess that was a face mask. It's the 5-yard variety, the incidental. So that'll help a little bit. They'll tack it on, and I think they'll get to keep the down, too. So it'll be 1st and 5. Good break after a bad one to start the half. Broughton in the shotgun. He'll keep it to his left. No, it's Perry out of the Wildcat, excuse me. And he gets good yardage out past the 40. It's a first down for the Warhawks. So a little different look to start the half. That might have been him on the first play, come to think of it, is they like to go to that alternative look. Let Perry take a series and see what he can make out of it. Against Grant County, it was a quick touchdown. And he will stay in the game as Broughton comes to the sideline. 1st and 10 from the GC 42. GRC leads 16-0. We are only a minute into the third quarter. Perry to the right, option pitch to Cobbins. He is ankle tackled there for a loss by Mundy Lloyd. We've said his name a lot. He's got the long hair flowing out of the back of the helmet, and he is a guy that is hard to deal with. He doesn't look like he kind of hides in the middle of that defense. They've got some big boys. But Mundy Lloyd with an interception earlier in the game. At the 36, that was a big loss of 6 yards. Now it's Broughton with the white sleeves, and the play was whistled dead. He was halfway down. You know what I think that was? Is an inadvertent whistle. And that is the biggest problem with the triple option is officials that get faked out by the fake. As I mentioned on a broadcast earlier this year, we saw it happen once there. And I covered a team up in New England that ran this offense, and they ran it so well that it cost them touchdowns sometimes because the officials didn't see who had the ball. And Coach Bowling wanting an explanation, but I think that's what it's going to be. I think they bid on the fake. I'm actually surprised it doesn't happen more with the wing tee as well, which has even more fakes involved in it sometimes from the Scott County perspective. But they don't throw it as much as Great Crossing, so that might or run that waggle play. A lot of times it's when the quarterback keeps it on the bootleg that they whistle it dead. In any case, it's going to cost GC dearly. And they have, I don't know, are they just going to call it no play?
What it looks like.
They're going to call it, yeah, they're going to call it a wash, I guess, because he signaled second down. Normally, an inadvertent whistle, the play will stand, but here they're just going to wipe it, I think.
That's a tough one.
That was a confusing situation. So, anyway, 2nd and 16 once again. They're going to run a reverse. They're going to run out of room. Oh, Fain made a little bit of something out of nothing. He gets to the 39. It's a gain of 3. But that would have been a gain of a lot more if Broughton's run had been able to stand. Yep. The triple option, it's sometimes it fools the men in the stripes too. All the teams I've covered in the past used to tell the official before the game, look, we have this play that we run, and we want you to know about it ahead of time because it's going to look like he doesn't have the ball. It's a throw over the middle, complete. Big gain to Fain. Fain is out of bounds at the 35. And we've got a man down for a great crossing. They're trying to help him up. It's Stadnick. I think he might have a cramp. He's trying to push them away. And there's another flag down. It might have been a late hit. At any rate, it's a 30-yard completion from Broughton to Fain. Call it a 26-yard completion, and they're going to add on a personal foul. I don't know if it was a late hit or an illegal chop block or something. What? Stadnick ended up on his fanny there at the original line of scrimmage. But that's all good things right now for the Warhawks as they have advanced it to the 21, their best field position of the night, with 9:53 remaining in the third quarter. Now would be a good time to get on the board. Broughton under center. Hands off. Decent gain there in conventional fashion as the pile is still moving. 20 men around the football. We're playing rugby here at Bird's Nest Stadium. I guess it was Cobbins as he broke free and ran ring around the rosy back to the huddle. 2nd and 5, call it 6 as they'll spot it at the 17.
Second and 6 from the GRC 16-yard line.
They are inside the 20. First trip to the red zone for the evening. Broughton in the shotgun will keep it left. He won't gain much. Taken down by number 24, Carter Lowe. He gets to the 16, where it will be 3rd and 4. So they are in field goal range, but they need a lot more than that at this point. It would get them within a more manageable 2-touchdown scenario if they put the 3 on the board, but they really want 6 or 7 or 8. Broughton drops back, fires over the middle. It's high to Perry. Couldn't quite get it. He got his fingertips on it, but it was a post pattern in at least double coverage, maybe triple, and fell incomplete. With 8:35 remaining, the clock stops here in the third quarter, and what are we going to do? Ball spotted on the left hash mark, and they will not kick. They will leave the offense in there. 4th and a long 4. Broughton in the shotgun. Cobbins the lone setback. Broughton throws it to nobody in the end zone. He had Harris over there. He had Coulter over there. It falls incomplete, and it's going to be a turnover on downs, and that's a tough way to end that one.
It is. Needed those.
And they are still not on the board. Defense has really buckled down in the second quarter. They'll need to do it again. GRC taking over at its own 16. Guess who? Azariah Israel spins to just shy of the 25. He's number 1 in the program, number 1 in rushing yards, at least on the team, if not the state. Scott County really kept him in check in their meeting with GRC early this year, held him to about 60. Good gain on first down. Manley in the shotgun, hands off to different back this time. He'll get the first down. That's Mundy Lloyd. He'll get it out to the 33.
pickup of 8 on the play.
8-yard gain.
George Rogers Clark, a first down.
Moves the sticks. Israel back in there. Short gain.
Okay, for number 1, Israel. Pickup of
All over that were Allen, Wiley, Fisher, Lukasco.
2nd and 6.
It's always a team effort when the Warhawks make a tackle, it seems like, except when Perry does it all by himself occasionally. Defense has been good at putting the football on the ground and getting it back and giving its offense some life. They could really use that right now, could the Warhawks. Scoreless here midway through the third. Israel to the left. Lots of room. First down and more inside midfield. Up past the 50 to the 47. Drake Bird, another tackle for him. He's had a good game tonight. But if Drake Bird's making a lot of tackles, it probably isn't good news because they're getting to that second level. It's kind of like the good news, bad news when Caleb Perry has 24 tackles. 1st and 10 at the Great Crossing 47. GRC with the ball and the lead, 16-0. Hand off to Mundy Lloyd, puts his head down and gets to the 40. So now they're balancing the handoffs a little bit here, kind of giving Israel a break.
They're
following
that left side of that line.
They sure are. We've found some things over there. Israel sometimes likes to start there and zigzag the other way. He's certainly a tough guy to find behind those big blocks of granite up front. 2nd and 2. Israel again. First down off left tackle inside the 30 to the 20. There's a flag down. He's taken down just shy of the goal line, but I think that's coming back. A little holding on the edge there to spring him. Didn't really need it, as he had a good gain. He had the first down and then some. Israel knows the gain is for naught. Hands on hips as he walks back up the field. And that is the signal. I'll hold the flags at the 23, so they'll get it at the 33. I think they're still going to get a first down out of this. That's the bad news for the Warhawks. Good news is it's not first and goal. 5:29 remaining, third quarter.
10-yard penalties assessed to GRC.
He is really hard to handle when he gets in that open field.
Boy, he gets a head of steam, and if he gets to the corner, bad news. He had the 2 touchdowns in that fashion early in the game, first quarter. He's been relatively held in check lately. There's the pass in the right flat, broken up. Nice play there. And with the signal to boot by Caleb Shively. Spade was the intended receiver. Shively timed it perfectly and knocked it loose, jarred it free. It was definitely an incomplete pass. Some of the Warhawks were chasing it like it was going to be a fumble, but for sure it was just incomplete. 2nd and 10. Fair to say the temperature has dropped like a rock here after the sun went down much earlier than a month ago when we were here last on a Friday night. Mundy Lloyd, hop, skip, and a jump through the line of scrimmage to the 26. He's got good vision, too, as their second option, a junior. So they've got the senior, Israel, and then Mundy Lloyd is kind of in waiting. You can tell he's probably going to be the primary option next year. He's also a star on defense. 3rd and 2 for the GRC Cardinals at the GC Warhawks 25. Handoff, Israel. He was initially held up, but he sidestepped a couple of would-be tacklers and got the first down inside the 20.
Ball's carried by number 1, Israel.
Caden Allen was there along with Pilot Lucasco
Tackle made by number
and Chase Little.
22, Caden Allen. And number 77, Brandon Smith
Also in the mix. It will be new set of downs for GRC at the 18. 4:30 to play. This quarter's going quickly, too quickly if you're the Warhawks. They're in catch-up mode. Both teams have had one series to this point. GRC systematically moving it down the field from left to right. Straight drop for Manley over the top. Touchdown. Number 3, Jeremiah Johnson. And that is going to be a tough hill to climb.
Yeah, with the way that offense moves the ball, it's very difficult to make up those points.
Yeah, the thing with the triple option is not a quick strike offense usually. It's very similar in that way to the wing T, in that you're trying to get a lot of time-consuming drives. There's a bad snap on the PAT. It is still rolling. The fans are all excited. This is not going to amount to anything. You can't return it in high school. Daquise Brown picks it up, and there's no two-point play. The fans don't seem to be aware of that. But once the defending team picks it up, that play is dead in high school. They still don't realize it. That's okay. It is 23-0, George Rogers Clark. Jeremiah Johnson, the 18-yard strike from Jordan Manley. 12th touchdown pass of the season for the senior. 22-0, excuse me, after the PAT. So, 3-score game with not a lot of time. The song says, long way to go and a short time to get there.
Need a really quick score.
Yeah. So you got to find they've done an awfully good job denying Caleb Perry the ball. It's almost like a boxing one in basketball.
Yes. Yeah, they're the double or triple teaming him and keying on him all night long.
Bird and Brown deep for the Warhawks. They will take it on the line drive fly there. It's Bird, and he is wrestled down at about the 35. Fans are still beside themselves. They're still mad about that they thought was going to be a return for 2 points on the PAT. And now they want a flag on the run back. Nothing doing. It is hard if you're a casual fan to keep straight all the differences between high school and college and pro and how they do things. There are a few procedural differences in terms of what the penalties are. For instance, on pass interference is one example. And in this case, the PAT rules are different as well. Broughton in the shotgun. He's got to guide his team downfield quickly, as Coach Stratton said. They're going to try the reverse to Caleb Perry. It's the first time they've been able to get him space all night, but it's not much space. It closes down. He cuts it back inside for a gain of about 7. Just about any place you can line Caleb up right now to get him the ball is what's going to be. You're going to be flipping to the back pages of the playbook, I think. Mark it as a gain of 8 at the 43, 2nd and 2. Now back under center is Broughton. That probably means a straight handoff to Patterson. See if I can play Tony Romo here. Nope, Broughton's going to keep it himself and get it over midfield. So that's the other thing they do in that formation is have Broughton run the option keeper. in GRC territory for, I believe, the fourth time tonight. So it's not as if the offense has been shut down completely, but they just have not been able to finish drives. Here's another one. Carter Lowe on the tackle there. And now we've got some confusion, and they're going to have to burn a timeout with 3:14 remaining third quarter. Let's go through those sponsors one more time. A little second half station identification here, sponsor identification as it were. Bluegrass Orthopedics, serving athletes of all ages. Georgetown News Graphic. Please do check out newsgraphic.com. 24/7 sports news. Local news matters. Denise M. Keene, DMK CPA, certified public accountant for your tax and auditing needs. Brickhouse Properties, sponsor of tonight's defensive player of the game. Real estate buying and selling made easy. Chick-fil-A, home of the original chicken sandwich. TMMK, Toyota Motor Manufacturing of Kentucky. Clark's Pump and Shop, return, refresh, refuel. 3, soon to be 4 Georgetown locations. Georgetown Community Hospital, where your health and safety remain their number one priority. West Banco, by all accounts, better. Greens Toyota of Lexington, great people, great cars, think Greens. Ozer Paint and Flooring, your hometown paint and flooring connection. Scott County Veterinary Clinic, we love and treat your pets like our own. Come join our SC Veterinary Clinic family. 1st and 10 from the GRC 49. Great Crossing trailing 22-0. Straight hand off to Patterson. He will get a couple. That's the keep the defense honest play in the triple option. I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of Broughton and Perry in the open field if the Warhawks are going to close in this deficit at all. They'll mark it at the 48. He only gained 1. Broughton walks up under center. Where's Perry? Split out to the right. That's where, nope, it'll get knocked down. Number 44 knocks it down at the line of scrimmage, Sam Neely. So it'll be 3rd and long.
Yeah, I thought they were going long to Perry.
I thought so too. Fain was the closest to the ball when it came back to earth, but I kind of figured Perry was going to be the target, and then it was kind of a line drive slant. It might have been Fain who was the intended receiver. They like to sometimes use that quick out to Fain as well, as GRC was doing to its receivers early in the game. Broughton, shotgun, under pressure, steps up, avoids it momentarily. He's in trouble and sacked back at the 46. So a promising drive goes for naught as Caleb Perry will punt it away. Glenn and Freeman on the sack. It'll be marked at the 48, so it'll be 4th and 13 for the Warhawks. Perry back in punt formation at his 35. Do you try something here to get it fired up? No, you think you just cut your losses and punt. Inside the 20, it's taken by Mundy Lloyd. He is swarmed quickly right at the 20, so good coverage by the Warhawks. Fain was down there, along with Harris, Wiley, Lacasco.
Just want to try to put them as deep as possible.
Yeah, and trust your defense, which has done a pretty good job tonight. I mean, with all the star power that GRC has on the offensive side of the football, they've held them in check. They just have not been able to put the exclamation point on those drives, those 4 drives that have been on the Cardinals' side of the field. And that's been the difference in the game right now. Throw in a safety for good measure, and it is that really was a big point in the game when it, 7-0 and 9-0 looked different and really different mentally too. That's another handoff to Israel to start the drive. He gets out to the 26. Azariah Israel, University of Louisville commit. They will put him in the weight room and see what they can do with him as a preferred walk-on, from what I understand. So He's a guy with deceptive speed once he gets to the corner, certainly. And he's got some strength, too. He makes the first man miss quite a bit.
Yes, he does.
Quick throw to the left, and that was what they made hay with in the first half. This will get him another first down as Manley completes it to Spade. Peyton Harris makes the stop on Tate Spade, the 6'2", 185-pound junior Tate Spade. So they've got some good underclass talent as well in this GRC team. We talk about great crossing in a growing situation, certainly, and can't wait till next year. They've certainly grown by leaps and bounds, have the Warhawks in 2020. Manley straight drop, goes deep. We said they haven't done that much. It's underthrown and picked. Who's it going to be on the far side of the field? It is Daquise Brown with the big interception, and we've said all night they need some life. Maybe that provides it. Finally, a takeaway. Right near midfield. Actually, they will mark it at the 35. They threw it. He threw it about 40 yards on a dime, but he threw it to the wrong guy, did Manley. Last minute of the third quarter, so big uphill climb here, 22-0. Perry and the Wildcat will keep it and gain a couple. Probably going to be the last play of the third quarter.
A lot of white shirts. They're really...
Man, they swarm to it. They sure do. Just both teams' defense is predicated on that. Time will elapse here. 12 minutes to play. And at this point, Great Crossing would just love to get on the board. They have not been shut out all season, as we said. Not even anything of the sort. In their 3 losses, they scored a total of 57 points against Woodford, Scott, and Shelby counties. And then they've had the 3-game winning streak in which the offense has averaged 45, but they have been blanked tonight so far. Looking back to last year, there were quite a few shutouts, twice against Douglas and also North Bullitt and Harrison County. So that was a much different situation. This offensive line has grown by leaps and bounds. All that time in the weight room, I think certainly for all the struggles that COVID provided for high school sports, the conditioning, and maybe you can speak to this on a baseball level too. It allowed guys to do things on their own a little bit that maybe aside from the team that keep things afloat and keep things moving forward even when games weren't being played.
Right. Yeah, they were gave them some extra time to do a lot of things where they wouldn't have before, simply because we would have been doing some other things or football would have been in that same boat. And so they got a lot of good time in the weight room. I know a lot of them went elsewhere, went to other places to lift and in condition. And even though they couldn't be on the facilities here, they found places to go.
Once the end of June came around for football, I think the rule was 10 at a time. So that was when they started doing conditioning drills together. And like I said, this offensive line is just noticeably bigger and stronger. And vast majority of them will be back next year. You look at Stadnick as a junior, O'Doherty is a sophomore, Smith is a junior, Kugel is a sophomore, Long is a junior. So in fact, the entire front 5 is all underclassmen. They'll have to break in a new quarterback next year. They've had, of course, the benefit of the transfer of Broughton this year. But with Caleb Perry, of course, one more year for him as well. Lots going to happen for him over the offseason as the future of his collegiate career comes into focus. We've still got 12 minutes to play in this one and at least one playoff game next weekend for the Warhawks as they will be heading to Lexington. Knock on wood, God willing, the way things have been going this year. Lexington's been a hard place. I guess the commitment that everybody has kind of given, at least in our district, is playoff games they're going to play, if at all possible, unless there's an active case, obviously, on a team. But the Red County thing won't be as much of a factor. They have erred on the side of caution during the regular season. Keeper for Broughton on the first play of the quarter gets it out to the 39. That's Perry again, sorry. As they stay in the Wildcat, and we've said they've got to do some things to get it into Caleb's hands. Now is the time. Of course, he was the starting quarterback all of last season, so nothing new for him. Gain of 4. Now under center is Perry. Straight handoff, not much there, maybe a yard. They still haven't blown the whistle, which is kind of peculiar. Tyrus Cobbins on the carry. And he will be credited with no gain, so it'll be 4th down and 6. And I think you got to go for it. Yeah, I don't think at this point there's any no matter if you lose by 22 or 30.
Yes.
There's no style points. Quick up to the line. Play clock is down to 6. And that will force Great Crossing to burn its first time out of the half. We'll see if they change their mind, but I don't think so. I think you've got to try. Get something on the board here.
Yeah, you got to kind of pull out the stops here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pull out some other different plays and try to get something.
Yeah, harken back to, it's a much different game. I harken back to the Battle of the Birds last season when they ran a trick play to get their touchdown. And sometimes you just, whatever it takes in some games, just to get yourself feeling a little better about the situation. I mean, there's certainly nothing to hang their hat about. This is a good GRC football team that they're playing tonight. Came in on a winning streak of their own. Their losses are against all good competition. Scott County, Bryan Station, Southwestern, a program that's been on the rise under Dr. Oliver Lucas, and have acquitted themselves well tonight. And a good test going into the playoffs. Is the road won't get any easier for the Warhawks next weekend for sure. Either way, whether they had ended up playing Douglas or Scott County, it was going to be a tough semifinal assignment. Now they are going to punt. It will be Perry back in punt formation unless they fake it. He will kick it away. A low line drive caught at the 29. Mundy Lloyd gets to the 40, and they throw a flag, so that's going to be wiped out. He got to midfield before he was brought down. Drake Bird got clipped or something on this side of the field, and that will be the call. So 10:28 remaining in the game, our final regular season varsity game. We will be here tomorrow morning, of course, for the Freshman Super Bowl at 10:30 a.m. Scott County versus Great Crossing. Warhawks, they've had an outstanding freshman year that includes a 20-0 win over the Cardinals already, so a little revenge on the mind there. It's not a game that you can attend unless you have tickets, I don't believe, and same goes for couple of middle school playoff games tomorrow that we played in Frankfort, but we'll have our eyes on as the Royal Springs 7th graders and Scott County 8th graders will be going for a region championship. So football at every level is still going strong here in the month of November in the county. Shotgun for Manley at his own 27. It was a high snap, and play will be whistled dead before it even starts. False start on the Cardinals will push it back 5.
False start against the Cardinals.
If this result holds, both teams will end their regular season with a mark of 3-4. Warhawks, of course, won 1 game last year against Grant County. It's been a much different theme this year.
From their own 22-yard line.
Tonight, it's been just not being able to finish off drives. It's been the difference in this one.
And stopping this guy.
And yeah, you betcha. As a big head of steam for Azariah Israel. Numero uno gets out to the 29. He gets back past the original line of scrimmage, so 2nd and 8. Israel has 2 scores. Jeremiah Johnson has another on the receiving end from Jordan Manley. They've kept some of the other star receivers in check. They haven't had to throw the ball much. They came out early in the game throwing quite a bit, but it has been a steady diet of Mr. Israel, who takes it same play over toward his sideline, gets close to the first down marker. It'll be 3rd and about 1.5 yards.
Tackle made by number 24, Ray.
Ray made the tackle on the far side of the field. They will mark it right just about at the 36. So call it 3rd and 1 yard. What do you think? Israel again? Yeah, why not?
I had to put my money on it.
Yeah.
If I was a better.
Of course, you got the fullback in the game now, so anything's possible. It will be Israel. It will be a first down. And the clock will continue moving down to the 9-minute mark after they move the chains.
Pick up a 3 on the play. Tackles made by number 8, Caleb Perry.
Perry on the tackle, as usual.
56, Combs.
Help from Trey Combs as well. Ball at the 39. GRC trying to put the frosting on the cake here.
That's enough for a first down for the Cardinals.
They have not wound the clock. Now they do. 9:06 and running. They're going to run somebody different. A little change up.
Ball's carried with number 48.
That is number 48, Kareem Grant. He's a sophomore, 5'11", 185. He gets 8. It'll be 2nd and 2, closing in on midfield here at the 8:30 mark.
Number 27, Fisher. Number 4, Drake Bird.
Fisher and Bird on the stop for the Warhawks. Their highlight in the second half has been an interception by Brown. Manley throws a right, complete to Johnson, knocked out of bounds at the 46. It'll be a first down. And the Warhawks backs to the wall again here as the Cardinals have some momentum. Mixing it up, Israel on the ground, Johnson through the air. That's been the story in the second half. Israel's been the story all night long. Handoff again to Grant. He takes a couple of guys to bring him down. They hit him low. Combs. Perry in there. I can just say that even when I'm not sure if he is, because I know that somewhere in the pile. See number 8. Ball at the 41 of Great Crossing. Gain of 5. Under 7:30 to play. Final game of the regular season here at Bird's Nest Stadium. Playoffs begin next Friday night, November the 13th. Second round on the 20th as well should be here. Another run for Israel and another first down to the 35. Came in with 711 yards on the season. He won't get to 1,000, but I bet he's going to be around 900 when the night's over. He has probably run for more yards this season than Great Crossing as a team, when you add it up, they've done so much of their offense through the air and kind of by committee. I don't know if the numbers add up to quite 900. Manley throws it a little quick out to his back, and it was nicely read and stuffed by Peyton Harris. That's a big loss. Well, not so big. They'll give him his forward progress, so he'll lose a yard. Felt like more than that as Harris made a nice solo tackle.
Peyton Harris, loss of 1 on the play.
Ball at the Great Crossing 36, where it'll be 2nd and 11. GRC just bleeding the life out of that clock right now. That's their goal. Manley's in trouble. He's going to get sacked by Caden Allen way back at midfield. And that time it was a big loss.
Number 22, Caden Allen.
Very nice play call.
Yeah.
Defensively.
Couple of good solo efforts on this drive. Tackle for loss by Peyton Harris. And the Caden Allen sack on consecutive plays.
That's going to bring up 3rd and 20 for the Cardinals.
No quitting the Warhawks. We've seen that in their losses this year. They will fight till the final horn. Screen to Johnson. Wiley got him by the ankle, and Lacasco was there to finish up, but he was on his way down anyway. Fourth down.
Tackle made by number 33, Mason Wiley. Let's make some noise for
4th and 15. They're going to punt it and do what they did in the first quarter that really turned this game into an uphill climb all night, which was the safety.
Punting for the Cardinals, number 88, Gibson.
Gibson, the big tight end. We haven't seen him catch a pass tonight, but he has been a force punting the ball. Now they're going to whistle it dead. What are we going to have?
Flag on the play. Called delay a game against the Cardinals.
They ran the play clock down to 0, so we'll back up 5 more yards. Might give him a better chance to angle it toward the corner, although I don't know what kind of leg he has for that. They're at the 45, so probably not good field position for the Warhawks out of this, and it will be under 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining by that point. Gibson does angle it toward the corner. It's inside the 10 to the 5 and out of bounds there. Man, he has done the job tonight. So twice the coffin corner. He's good to Dylan Gibson.
Gibson's kick covers about 45 yards. 40 yards.
So 95 yards away from getting on the board in this one. .412 to do it. We know the Warhawks will give it everything they have here. Option keeper gets nothing.
Well, it's carried by number 8, Caleb Perry. No gain on the play.
It's going to be a tough call for offensive player of the game unless they score here. It's been a challenging night on the Galvins on Main Offensive Player of the Game Award voting consideration. Big play by Casey Fain in the passing game from Broughton was probably the biggest, longest play of the night, and there was a penalty tacked onto that got him inside the 20. That drive died. Perry, the pitch to Cobbins, who spins away from one, but not from another. Is the ball on the ground? Yes, it is. Ball to GRC inside the 5.
not where you wanted to lose the ball at all.
I
The fumble on the play, and Cardinals have recovered the
didn't
ball.
see the number of the young man who recovered it, but Cobbins was straining for extra yardage, and it got knocked
Cardinals
loose
have first and goal from the 4-yard line.
inside the 5, and I'm betting Mr. Azariah Israel is going to go for the hat trick here. Put this away. If he's in the game. He's not.
Nope,
He's not. Maybe they're just going to save him. You don't need him getting hurt unnecessarily going into the playoffs. And now what do we have? Delay a game. Delay a game. So they'll push it back to the 9.
You got a flag on the play. Delay a game against the Cardinals. We'll back them up 5 yards, and there'll be a first and
Been a couple of those. GRC has not been in any hurry in the fourth quarter, certainly with the 22-0 lead. They want to get out of here. And whoa, Trey Combs comes barreling across the line. He's going to get his money's worth jumping off sides. That will give away the 5 yards unless he was drawn. They're having a discussion about it. He certainly came across with great vigor, but it looks like they're facing the other way, so I think they're just going to mark it. No? Yeah, encroachment on the Warhawks, so that'll wipe out the previous situation. That Broughton down there with his uniform off, that's kind of worrisome. I know Perry was in there on that last drive exclusively. Hope that's nothing serious. He's talking with Jacob Coulter. Hopefully just precautionary. They got one more game to play next week. Handoff. Not going to get the touchdown. And won't get much of anything out of that. It is not Israel. Caden Allen was in the middle of it, signaling that they didn't get anything. I'm of the belief that when you're down 22-0, you just go back to the huddle.
Yes.
Under 3 minutes. They did give him a yard, so it'll be second goal from the 3. You got a second string quarterback in there as well. Allen made the stop again on the handoff. Was that a fumble? Yeah, it was. Caleb Perry recovers a fumble. So there you go. What's good for the Warhawk is good for the Cardinal. That's the second turnover of the half for the GC defense. They've played pretty well. They've had some tackles for loss. They've held them to 6 points.
Yeah, really since the first quarter, they played pretty decent. Just couldn't get anything going offensively.
Yeah, that uphill climb. And field position in situations like this is the third time tonight they have started in the shadow of their goalposts. Perry drops, throws deep. Somebody down there. It's going to be interference. Coulter got dragged down. It's going to be interference. That'll help. 15 yards. We'll move it out to the 17, and there's no danger of the safety now. All academic at this point with 2:10 remaining. Great crossing with 130 seconds to go, 83 yards and get something on the board in this one. Perry, option right. He's still running past the 30 to the 34. Got hit low, and it did more damage to the tackler as GRC still has a player down. Looks like number 6, Blake Freeman. Perry with the gain of 17. One of the better plays of this half. 2 minutes and counting.
17 on the play for a first down, Warhawks.
Perry options to feign. That's not going anywhere. Just great pursuit to the edge by GRC tonight. It's really made that east-west stuff pretty ineffective.
55.
Minute and a half to go. Feign loses a pair. 2nd and 12.
Loss of 2 on the play. It's going to make it a 2nd and 12 for Warhawks from their own 32-yard line.
Our defensive player of the game, we'll give it to Daquise Brown as he had the interception to kind of give him some life here in the second half. Could give it to any number of people. We like to change it up. That's a jump ball. It's going to be picked off. I think, nope, it's on the ground. I think it was still a live ball. I don't know what they're going to call. We're going to wait for this to sort itself out. Going to call it incomplete, I think, is what the easiest thing to do. It was a would-be interception, and then it got jarred free, and I don't know if they were going to say it was a fumble at that point or still up for grabs as far as a catch was concerned, but it doesn't matter at this point. They'll mark it back at the 32, 3rd and 12. And the officials saying there were 12 people on the field. It's 22 to nothing with 1:04 to go, and I just don't know sometimes. Perry with a long run inside GRC territory to the 37. Maybe we'll give him the offensive player of the game. He's had to do a lot tonight. He's lined up just about everywhere except the offensive line. He's taken a variety of hits. I guess that's the good news when you have your quarterback get dinged a little bit. You've got someone like Caleb Perry that can come in the game.
Very nice option to have.
Yeah, I would say. A guy that had a whole season under his belt. He just looks so much bigger and stronger and better now. More confident. GRC is going to call a timeout. They want this shutout something fierce. 44 seconds remaining. 37 yards from pay dirt. Are the Warhawks. Trying to see if GRC has had a shutout of recent vintage. They haven't had one this year. They certainly did not have one last year. I bet it's been a long time. You got to go back to Bourbon County on October 26th of 2018, a game they won 40-0. So they would like this to end with the goose egg. NFHS Network, Bird's Nest Broadcasting Network, newsgraphic.com, where you have been listening or watching tonight. We thank you. Please do remember the Bird's Nest sponsors when you're out and about in our community. Please do remember the News Graphic for full coverage of this game and all the others that are played across all sports. Perry will throw it deep. He's got a receiver down there, but out of bounds. That's going to be incomplete as Kelly was well covered. And it was the 12th man that got him as he was on the chalk anyway, or the paint. Nice effort.
Yes, it was.
Clock stops, 38 seconds. Not a lot of time ran off there.
Going to make it a 2nd and 10 from the GRC. 37-yard.
This is what I love about GC building the program, and we alluded to it earlier. Saw it against Scott County, saw it against Shelby County. They will play until the last second, and they will try to get something on the board here. Perry drops back. He has good time to throw. Looks for Kelly again. Another leaping effort. He paid the price as it falls incomplete. And gets some help up from the Cardinals. Good sportsmanship there.
Broken up by number 22, Monday Lloyd.
Jeremiah Mundy Lloyd, who had an interception earlier in this game and some nice runs as well on the other side of the ball, made the biggest hit to break it up. 31 seconds, 3rd and 10. Warhawks will fall to 3-4 going into the district semifinals next week at Frederick Douglass. GRC will improve to 3-4. I got to think they'll have either Oldham County or Madison Central at home in their district. That's going to be a timeout. Might as well use them all. You can't save them for next week, as Coach Bowling will talk it over. Warhawks would love to put something on the board and take some momentum into that week of preparation for the Broncos.
And this is good for the kids right here, too, because the game is...
Coaches preach 48 minutes, 48
exactly.
minutes. And, you got to put your money where your mouth is.
Coach to the very end. You want them to compete to the very end.
Please stay off the field.
And it's, there's all the life lessons we talk about in this game. There's going to be times in life when you're down 22-0.
That's exactly right.
You got to put some things together and live to fight another day. They're doing nicely here. This drive started at the 1-yard line after Caleb Perry's fumble recovery, and he has directed the offense to the 37 in under 2 minutes. The 37 of GRC. Most of that on his 2 feet. There's a penalty that helped as well. Caleb drops back under pressure. Lots of pressure. He's going to be sacked at midfield. And they'll have to use their final timeout if they want to run one more play. Or they may just say, you know what, let's get out of here. Seems to be the strategy at this point.
Perry sacked by number 88, Gibson. And number...
Your final, nope. He's going to call a timeout with 1 second remaining. God bless Coach Bowling. We will have one more play. One more shot to throw a Hail Mary.
Well, as we talked earlier, bring out everything that you got out of the playbook. Try to put something on the board.
Whatever it takes. Come out in the polecat formation like they did. Like I said, anything's possible here. What's your best play from midfield? If they cut the music, we can play here. Okay, Peyton Harris running onto the field, so we're not quite ready. Harris in motion. And they're just going to run a straight handoff after. I'm not quite sure why. Final score. The George Rogers Clark Cardinals 22. The Great Crossing Warhawks 0. Tough night for the offense. They got in GRC territory 5 times, but came up empty, including here on the final play of the game, as we see the now traditional wave from 6 feet away at midfield. A few players going to hug and hand pound and shake hands. They're not supposed to, but they're going to anyway. And, I'm kind of old school and kind of support that, and I'll leave it at that. Next week, Scott County will be here at home in the playoffs. COVID and God willing against Grant County. GC will be at Frederick Douglass. Our players of the game, our Galvin's on main offensive player of the game will be Caleb Perry, mostly on the strength of that final drive. And our Brickhouse Properties defensive player of the game, we'll give that to Daquise Brown for the falling, leaping interception at the end of the third quarter. GC just couldn't take advantage of those plays on the defensive side of things, and they fall 22-0. Both teams will conclude their regular season at 3-4. As we said, at least one more week for both of them. Been a great night here on the Bluegrass Bird's Nest Broadcast Network. Bluegrass Orthopedics has brought you much of the action this year. We'll thank them. Coach Greg Stratton from Great Crossing Baseball. We will be seeing you hopefully in February sometime, talking about the season that's to come. And it's been good having you. Thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks for the opportunity and being here, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Until next time, on behalf of James Scoggin, my producer, Mike Scoggin, my publisher, DT Wells, District Athletic Administrator, who holds this together and helps me line up substitute analysts for substitute games like we've had so much this season. I am merely Cal Oaks, saying good night and God bless. We hope to see you tomorrow morning for the Battle of the Birds Freshman Super Bowl. Until then, see you next time.